What is up, Crockxen clan members, anime fans, and others who stumble upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today I'm going to be doing, it's technically two reviews in one go, but they kind of go together, so that's why I'm going to do it like that. But it's essentially Higurashi Season 4, which is Kira, and the OVA special, 1 hour special, which is Kaku Outbreak. So let's get started. Alright, so since technically I'm doing two reviews in one go, this is technically going to be two stories. So I'm going to talk about Kira first, and then Outbreak right after that. So Kira in itself, it's really, Season 4 in itself is not really a coherent season. It feels more like a lot of thrown together episodes. It's really only 4 episodes long, so it's really, I don't know if you could consider that a season at all. I think it's just considered an OVA miniseries. So I mean, but it's still technically Season 4. But it really is just 4 randomly put together episodes that have nothing to do with the main plot. In fact, they don't even mention a lot of stuff that happened before. It literally felt like it's every episode with its own thing, with most of them having some sort of fan service in there thrown together. There was also a kind of like a it was like a romance built type of thing, like trying to see who KHK was going to end up with, whether it was Rena or Mion or even Shion actually ended up in the mix. So it was just that kind of stuff. There was also an episode that was like Rika, when she was little, ended up time traveling to the future, and there was a moment there. Like it literally just felt like a bunch of randomly put together episodes. So it really wasn't that special to me. The special one is Outbreak, the OVA hour-long special. Okay, like when I do the rating at the end of the video, I'll explain how I'm gonna split it up. But Outbreak in itself was actually phenomenal. I love the thing because it felt okay. Like Kira, like I said, it's just a bunch of randomly put together episodes that have nothing to tie into the main story, and they have really nothing going for it except for random bullshit going wrong. Outbreak tries to go back to its roots. It becomes a horror thriller series, not series, special. It literally tries to tie back into the original. Now since it's an OVA special, it technically doesn't have anything to do with the story. But it's kind of like its own version of the Hinamizawa disaster. Essentially, what happens is that everybody in Hinamizawa, there's an outbreak happens. A virus starts going viral. A virus starts to spread, which is essentially it's the Hinamizawa virus essentially. It starts spreading, and people go into a panic because then the entire village was quarantined by the government, and then they came in with vaccines and medicine and water and food and stuff like that, but then they stopped coming, and they literally they did a full-on quarantine where if anybody tried to leave, they were killed on the spot, which caused paranoia inside the village. People started blaming families that moved into the city and into the village, because remember, the whole legend of Hinamizawa is that essentially everybody in the village is cursed with the virus, the disease, the thing that makes you go crazy. And that's why they can't leave, because the parasites are going to activate, and then they're going to basically go crazy and start killing people. That's why they're stuck in there. That's why they can't leave. So the fact that there's people coming in, maybe they're the reason why this is all going active right now, and all this other stuff, essentially. And so people go crazy, and they start blaming, they actually kill Rena's dad, and, like, Keiichi's parents have to escape. Like, they basically come up with the whole plan to escape. They also are planning to sacrifice Satoko because of the whole thing with her parents, going with the damn thing, because basically that's what's going on. And it was really cool. I really liked the way the plot went for that. So let's move on to the next part. Alright, so animation / music wise, the thing with, since it's technically a new part of an old and a series I've already done before. The animation aspect has not changed. It didn't evolve. It didn't change. Like the characters look the same in every single season. Even the OVA special, so that's not really a big deal. The music, on the other hand, it's technically still the same. The thing that they changed is the opening in the season 4, which I really didn't care about. Like before, when I watched season 1 and season 2, the songs themselves just did like they inherently bothered me, like, because they kind of set up the tone for the series, so I couldn't actually handle listening to it. This one is just flat out stupid. Um, and then the OVA special didn't really have an opening; it just had an ending song, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, so that's that. Now again, since this is technically the 4th review I've done in the series, I'm not really gonna go too much into the characters aspect. I did, like I said, the whole fan service episode kind of showed off a little bit of the characters and how KHK is actually really a pervert when it comes to certain things, and the fact that they had Oishi and um, Irie and not Takano. I forget his name right now. Uh, the photographer dude. Essentially, like they're all perverts because they start trying to help KHK win the 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 games that they do in the club, and because he's always losing, so they're trying to motivate him by having him imagine what certain girls would have to do if they lost, and it's basically kind of stupid. That's literally the only thing. We also I did like the time travel episodes mainly because of Hanyu. Hanyu kind of sold it for me because essentially what happens is that Hanyu actually gets attached to young Rika, especially due to the fact that Rika in their world kind of acts like a douchebag sometimes. Like not Rika herself, like the other side of it, because we know Rika has two sides. There's the more mature, grown-up version of herself, that's inside her young, small body, and then there's the cute, adorable one, and just everybody sees most of the time. So she gets affectionate with her, with the little Rika, and then when they're trying to find a way to get her back to her timeline, and she literally doesn't want to let her go because, well, she doesn't want little Rika to suffer the whole trials that they have to go through to reach their perfect world. And that's literally the only episode that tries to tie itself into the originals, and that's why I liked it. The other three were just bullshit stuff that were happening, but that particular episode made me specifically because of Hanyu and the fact that they did try to tie in. Yes, it wasn't scary, and there wasn't like any psychological trauma that was being shown off to me, but the fact that it tried to tie into the originals, like the previous seasons, and like showed off Hanyu as a character, because that's one of the biggest things with Hanyu is that we always saw her as this scaredy cat that really just was around, and then she didn't really do much until the last storyline when she basically told Takano that she was gonna destroy her and stuff like that. So that sensitive side to her, the fact that there was a moment there, I really like that at least. So that's literally what I have to say about that. In terms of the OVA special, that was badass because we saw how Keiichi and Vanna kind of like, because they were murdering people left and right. They were using what they learned in the club activities to try to get people to kill each other off, and it was all awesome. It was just great. It was great. That was kind of cool. I will admit. Vanna with her. I don't even know what the heck that thing is. It's like a. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. It's like a big old, like, it looks like it should be an axe, or like it's like a mix between an axe and a knife. This is really big. They show it off all the time. So if you guys know what it is, let me know in the comments. I really have no idea. And then Keiichi obviously with stuff that she's batting and knocking people down. That was cool. But yeah, so let's move on to the last part. Alright, so I warned you guys, spoilers. So technically, since the actual like Kira version of season 4, it has no real final episode because they're all kind of like individual in its own right. I am gonna technically spoil the finale of the OVA special. So if you don't want to watch that, go back, click the time skip or click the link to skip you to after all this. So essentially, what happens at the finale, the end of the OVA special, is that Rena and Keiichi are basically going to save and rescue Satoko from the clutches of the people that are going to sacrifice her. Now they have 3 days, right? So they're not going to kill her for 3 days. So excuse me. So they figured, hey, let's go right now before this whole 3 days even starts. And so they go and like I said, they're killing off people. And then like they come up to the area where she's at. She's basically in a cabin, and essentially there's a bunch of groups that are separated. And what they end up doing is cause hysteria. They basically hid around and started screaming at one area that was guarding, saying, "Hey, some people from the other district are coming. They're gonna try to rescue Satoko because they heard a rumor that apparently her blood is gonna cure the virus and stuff like that." And so they're like, "Oh, well, then we gotta get on the defensive, right? Because people are crazy. They're thinking that they can just do whatever they want with Satoko. We're gonna sacrifice her so that we can calm Oyashiro's wrath and stuff like that." That's on one side. And then on the other side, they say the same thing. And so they decide to go back to the cabin, and then they have a firefight because they think that they're the enemy. And then they go rescue Satoko, and essentially there's two guards there still. And what ends up happening is that they fight the two guards. Rena kills one of them, and then the other one shoots Rena in the arm. And then not Satoshi, Keiichi's gonna hit him with a baseball bat, and then he shoots, and looks like Keiichi's down, but it actually ricocheted off the bat. Just the blunt force of the blow made Keiichi fall. It wasn't actually that he got shot. But then he like pretended to be dead for like a couple seconds, and he like threw the bat and knocked him in the face, and then Rena caught it, and then like whacked him in the head and just killed the dude. And then they leave to find Rika, and she basically says she has to stay because she's the reincarnation of Oyashiro, so she has to make sure she basically has to watch over the turmoil to see what's gonna happen and stuff like that. And then so they leave her there, and then they go, and they basically it's gonna be uh, just them getting ready to survive in this new chaotic world and stuff like that, which was really cool. It was really a nice touch. So that's that. Final episode. I really not really consider final episode, but you guys know what I mean. Alright, rating time. Now, as a fan of the Higurashi series, since the beginning, I mean, yes, it did. Since I'm not really good with the horror genre, I did freak out a little bit in the beginning of season 1, and I had to like get a break before watching it again. But as a huge fan, I was really disappointed in season 4. Like I said, I really only liked one episode, and I believe it was episode 3, if I remember correctly. Because the other 3 were just kind of stupid. The whole Magica Girl, I didn't mention that in the previous part, but the whole Magica Girl episode was kind of stupid and kind of lame. And then the whole fan service episode was kind of weird and really awkward. And then like there was just a lot of things wrong with a lot of the other stuff that was going on. Um, but the OVA special, I gotta say, really sold it to me, and I personally think that at least that is worth a watch. So here's, like I said, two separate ratings. This is how it's gonna be. For Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Kira, I say don't really bother looking it up if you're a fan of the series. Like if you really like, okay, if you don't care about horror stuff or just you haven't even watched the beginning, don't even bother watching season 4. If you like it, I say go in with caution. Like I still say don't bother watching it because like I said, there's really only one episode that's somewhat worth it, and that's not really justifying to watch all 4. Um, as for the outbreak, I say definitely finish the outbreak special because that thing literally is the best part about this whole season 4 aspect. Like just completely. that in itself is worth watching. Don't even bother with season 4 itself. Don't watch Kira. In my opinion, don't even bother. Outbreak definitely finished that special. It was great. It was amazing. It's around 40 minutes long because I mean it's technically an hour long episode, but that's not counting the commercials when it's on TV. Um, but definitely watch that. That is definitely like a finish the whole special. Like just do it. Um, but yeah, so that is going to be it for this review. Uh, like I said, I'm a big fan of the series, and I was really disappointed with season 4. Like, so just, but like I said, this is my opinions. As I've said this before, this is my opinions. Take that with a grain of salt. Um, but just know that if you are a big fan of the series, I personally don't recommend watching season 4. But if you do, go in with some sense of caution. Um, but yeah, so that's going to be it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm probably going to upload this on Sunday after a special video that I have for you guys. So if you have not watched it, I really will hope that you do. Check it out. So yeah, that is going to be it for this review. This anime time with Soresan. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.